Right, I'm going to give you a quick tour of my home gym, power rack that I created during lockdown. It's inspired by the Buff Dude design, which is available online. Made it out of 3.5 by, well, it's 4x4, but it's actually 3.5 inches square wood. It was a bit different from a lot of the power racks that you see online because I didn't want to necessarily make it as cheaply as possible. That wasn't really the goal. The goal was to try and make something that I really liked, something that was looked good. So I wanted to keep it. I wanted to keep the wood so you could see that, and I wanted to learn a thing or two about making it. You know, a bit about woodwork and just making it look as professional as I could. I based the design on broadly on the Rogue power racks, and they're 49 inches from side to side. Obviously the steel that they use on theirs is 3 inches square, and this wood is 3.5 inches square, so you have to make a few allowances for that, and I didn't want to get it too wide so that the J-cups wouldn't fit on. The starting point really for the design was to buy the J-cups. I didn't want to do what a lot of people do online, and they use sort of bars from plumbing and other things, and I just thought that was a bit unsafe really. So the basis of the design was to use the J-cups. I also bought the chin-up bar, that was also from Rogue, and just chiseled out a bit of wood up here to fit it in. And then all of this structure was all based on the Buff Dude's design, just putting these quarters in here. One of the things I didn't like about their design was that they put lots of plates here. I think I've got some over here actually. Yeah, so the Buff Dudes used these plates quite a lot to secure the frame at the top and the bottom. I wasn't so keen on that myself. I just thought, just not to my taste, so I didn't use that. But I did use the little angle brackets here, which I just put in. There you go, just in like that. So I used that, and I used these cross beams to secure it, and the chin-up bar was also quite structural as well. So some of the other things that I learned from looking at other racks online was that a lot of them have a cross beam just going across the floor here, just at the back of the rack, which I didn't really like, because when you've got your bar loaded and you want your toes to go in exactly that space, so I didn't want that to get in the way. So one of the purposes of the design, and one of the aims of the design, was just to avoid that. So I ended up just having this box structure, which, if you look down here at the bottom, I bought these angle brackets and screwed it into the floor straight through 2 layers of wood here. This is just a layer of hardwood and OSB. Screwed it straight through into the floor there to secure it to the floor, and then this piece here on the floor, and just secured it against the wall. And similarly, I had a piece up here on either side which secured it against the wall. That really stiffened it up and made it really quite good in terms of stiffness, and so I didn't really miss this piece. Let's just see if we can get an angle there. Yeah, I didn't miss the piece going across there. It was, I would say, probably 90% stiff, really quite secure, but just to make sure there was no issue, I put this extra piece of wood across the top, which I'll just, you can see that up there. And that really stiffens it up now, so there's absolutely no movement in this at all now, which is really good. So you can't shift that. So the one of the most complicated bits of it was, and one of the things that was most time consuming, was getting these holes right. As I say, because this is based on the dimensions of a Rogue rack, and those steels are 3x3. This is 3.5 by 3.5, so I had to fit the J-cups, had to just put the holes slightly off centre here, just to make them fit. And the bit that I think is quite different about this rack, which you won't see on many other racks, is that I actually routed the safety sections here into the wood. I'll just come around here and you'll see I didn't want anything showing at the back, which meant that to get this working properly I had to route out a section of wood there so that you could when you put that in there, just slide that in, and that looks quite neat now. So from the back it's clean. From the other side you can't see anything, and you've just got an entry point there where that goes. So I made this bespoke just for my size. So this is the level for the J-cup for the squats. This one's for the inclined bench press squats. This is for the bench press squats down here. And then there's one here at the bottom for a floor press. So that was a really good feature. It took a lot of time to do these, but I'm really pleased with the result. And then I didn't do any routing at the front. This front section is just purely for the safety bars at lower level here, and all these are cut to my specification for each of the different levels, and works really well. I had a bit of a height issue in the garage, so I had to think quite carefully about how much space I had for the chin-up bar. It wasn't ideal. I could have done with another 12 inches or so of space up there. So I do smash my head on the ceiling, but as you can see I put a little cushion there from one of my kids' cycle helmets just to stop me getting bashed. But that works quite well. It's just enough clearance for me to get my head over there. Works okay. And the wood was basically for the floor. The wood was fairly standard plywood with a layer of OSB, and this is all glued and screwed together. The 4x6 size wood meant that I just had to cut one piece 50 inches just to give a bit of overhang here on the width, which meant I did have a little fill-in piece here. Let's come around here. I did have to have a fill-in piece join here, but that's okay. That's I don't actually go there very often. And then I've just got some blocks of wood here which I will improve on, but this is for when I put the TRX up on the chin-up bar and do some inverted rows. I was going to do deadlifts inside the power rack, so I bought these rubber mats here so I could do that, but in fact I found that's a bit difficult. It's okay, you can do it, but there's no point really. If you've got a mat, you may as well put the bar outside of the rack and do it here, which is what I do. If I need to bring the car in the garage, then I just pull it out of the way and it's fine. I didn't want to make the power rack too big. A lot of people online say that one of their big regrets when they make these things is they just make the whole thing, it takes up too much space and it's too big. So I wanted to keep it nice and compact, and I think I've achieved that. I'm quite happy with the size and dimension of it all. I also made a bench, which was reasonably easy to make. It's based on the Buff Do design with a few modifications. I've cut out a piece here because again I wanted to avoid these plates. So I've cut out a piece there to give a bit of extra strength. I put some extra quarters in here just to give a bit more strength, and you can see I've made the leg near the front quite a bit smaller than the one where your head is, just to give a bit more stability up the head end, but where your feet are, to give enough clearance for your feet to get a good purchase on the floor. I started putting a few stickers on it. We went to Cornwall recently, so I've got a few stickers, and I got this Union Jack just routed out a little section there and stuck that in. I thought that was a nice touch. Yeah, so the whole process was quite interesting actually. I learned a lot. I ended up buying a lot of tools and a lot of extra equipment to make it. I bought a bench drill here, which you can see, which was really useful to cut the holes, make them really straight. And that was £90, but quite a good piece of equipment, and quite enjoyed using that. I had to get myself a proper drill for the getting the holes in the floor, so I got myself a good quality Makita drill here, which was great. I had another drill which I struggled to use, but this was a beast, and this went through the concrete in the floor with no trouble at all. So highly recommend that Makita drill. It's called the, there you go, the HR2470WX. That was really good. The piece of equipment, I don't really know how I managed to survive without it, to be honest, for the last 20 years of DIY, was the miter saw. Again, that was a Makita miter saw. Fantastic piece of equipment, and I wouldn't have been able to build this thing without it. It was really useful for cutting all these angles, and just generally cutting all the wood up. Just a few other things that you might find of interest. I bought myself a little kit from a company called Trend, which does a lot of router bits, and they do a kit which enables you to drill holes and then cut out little plugs of wood, which I think just gives a bit more of a professional finish for this, instead of having the exposed screws. A few other technical points you might want to know. That all the holes I didn't use one of these. These were just, I think, too crude. I think when you see these online, people tend to use them, but they make a real mess of the holes. I think that the way to cut the holes really cleanly was to use a Forstner bit, and I used these. This is a Forstner bit, and I used those 18mm one to cut all of the holes, and that was really useful. Give a nice clean cut both sides. Yeah, today I put these up. These are just obviously some holders for the weights. These are 60 to £70 each, and put these up recently, and that just keeps stuff stored nicely out of the way. And I've got a little place here I can write my exercise on, and then and rub it off nice and easily, so that's quite a nice little feature. And then I finished the whole thing off with 3 coats of wood varnish, and that's finished off really nicely. And I rounded off the edges with just a sander, which creates a really nice finish. I'm really happy with that, actually. There's a few mistakes here, but I've learned a lot, and it's really robust, works well, and been a good experience. So yeah, definitely recommend that you have a go. It's good to have your own kit. You can build it to your own specification, but really, I would recommend you really think hard about it and spend a lot of time designing it before you get going, because it's not that easy. It looks quite simple, but it takes quite a bit of time actually to make it all work. Hope you enjoyed the video, and if you've got any questions, just let me know at the bottom, and I'll see if I can answer them. I'll see you next time.